Flaking paint, peeling wallpaper, a musty odour and timber decay are some of the common symptoms of rising damp. Failure to treat the problem properly can result in a house that is unpleasant to live in and difficult to sell. So it is essential to choose an effective method of treatment. Dryzone damp proofing cream is an independently tested treatment for rising damp that is faster to install and considerably less disruptive than traditional rising damp treatments. In order to fully understand the benefits of using Dryzone, we first need to look at what causes rising damp. Rising damp is caused by moisture rising from the ground into the walls of a building. Damp is able to rise up the walls because most construction materials contain tiny pores, making them behave like a sponge or the wick of a lamp, drawing moisture up from the ground. The mortar that holds most buildings together tends to exhibit this sponge-like behaviour more than other building components. Although damp will rise through bricks and most types of stone, the main pathways through which damp will rise are the mortar beds. It is therefore possible to control rising damp by preventing moisture from rising through the mortar beds. Since the 1950s, rising damp has been treated by injecting water-repellent chemicals under pressure into holes drilled into the brickwork using an electric pump. When installed correctly, the pressure forces the fluid into the pores in the bricks and mortar, where it cures to form a water-repellent barrier. This system has proven to be effective, but is slow, messy, and completely operator-dependent. For example, the operative has to guess how much fluid has been injected into each hole, leading to the possible overuse of chemical, or worse still, insufficient chemical being injected, resulting in an ineffective treatment. There are also health and safety risks associated with the injection of damp-proofing chemicals under pressure. Dryzone damp-proofing cream is different. Dryzone cream is installed using a simple applicator gun into holes drilled at regular intervals along the mortar course. Once installed, the Dryzone cream spreads along the mortar pathways before curing to form a water-repellent barrier, blocking the passage of moisture through the mortar beds and controlling the rising damp. Application of Dryzone is extremely quick and easy. Typically, a rising damp treatment carried out using Dryzone can be installed in 1/3 of the time taken using the older chemical injection method. Holes are drilled at regular intervals along a single mortar course using a 12mm drill bit. Because Dryzone is installed directly into the softer mortar course, rather than into the brick, a cordless drill can be used. The Dryzone cartridge is loaded into the applicator gun and is pierced using a sharp knife. Once the nozzle is attached, the Dryzone damp-proofing cream is ready to be installed into the wall. The nozzle is inserted into the pre-drilled holes and gentle pressure is applied onto the trigger. It is not necessary to force the Dryzone cream into the wall. The correct dosage is achieved simply by filling each hole with Dryzone and allowing it to soak into the surrounding mortar naturally. Whilst applying gentle pressure, move the nozzle backwards, leaving the holes filled with Dryzone. Once all the holes have been filled, the treatment is complete. It's that easy. We've seen how fast and easy Dryzone is to install, but it doesn't end there. Dryzone's concentrated formulation means that it is not necessary to inject large volumes of liquid into the wall. Walls treated with Dryzone will therefore dry out faster and more evenly. Dryzone's low-hazard formulation is non-caustic and non-flammable, minimising risk to operatives. As it's not injected under pressure, the blowback problems associated with pressurised chemical injection systems are eliminated. There's also no problem with fluids flooding into neighbouring rooms or properties. Operator error is greatly reduced. With Dryzone, the operative knows exactly how much cream goes in each hole, doing away with the guesswork associated with other systems. It is also easy to calculate how much Dryzone will be required for each project. No electric pump is required, reducing cost and allowing Dryzone to be installed on sites where no power is available. For those requiring a guarantee, the use of Dryzone damp-proofing cream as a treatment for rising damp is endorsed by the Property Guarantee Administration. Dryzone was developed by Safeguard Chemicals, the UK's leading manufacturer of damp-proofing products. Safeguard have been manufacturing high-quality damp-proofing and waterproofing products since 1983, with a particular emphasis on the development of solvent-free systems. They recognised that traditional methods of chemical damp proofing were slow, cumbersome and prone to operator error. Dryzone damp proofing cream was developed to overcome these problems. Dryzone is the result of an extensive in-house research and development program. This involved the screening and testing of hundreds of potential formulations. Originally designed to match the effectiveness of the traditional chemical damp proofing products, subsequent tests proved that Dryzone outperformed these products. Dryzone is manufactured under an ISO 9002 compliant quality control system and, in 2002, gained the coveted British Board of Agreement approval after passing rigorous independent tests. Dryzone is just one of Safeguard's wide range of materials for protecting buildings,